Have you ever looked at a giant pile of notes or a dense textbook and thought, there's no way I can get through all of this? Or maybe you're scrolling through endless study videos, hoping one of them holds the secret to learning faster, without the all-nighters, burnout, or last-minute panic. Well, you're not alone. We've all had those moments, sitting at our desks, distracted by our phones or overthinking that one paragraph we've already reread 5 times. But what if I told you there's a smarter way to learn, so efficient, it almost feels like cheating? The kind of technique spies, special agents, and elite performers use to absorb complex information in record time. It's not magic. It's not a gimmick. It's just a smarter, more focused approach to how our brains work and how to work with them, not against them. In this video, we're diving into practical, science-backed strategies that'll help you absorb knowledge quickly and retain it longer. Whether you're studying for an exam, learning a new skill for your job, or just tired of forgetting everything 2 days after you read it, this is for you. We're going to simplify it all. No fluff, no complicated neuroscience talk, just real advice that works. Let's start by talking about something no one wants to admit. Most of us were never taught how to learn. We just kind of did it. Some of us crammed, some highlighted every sentence like it was the Holy Grail, and others just rewatched lecture videos, hoping repetition would make it stick. But the truth is, the brain doesn't work like a sponge. It's not about how much time you spend, it's about how you spend it. One of the most powerful ways to speed up your learning is something called active recall. Now don't zone out here, this is simple, and it works. Instead of just reading your notes or watching the same video again and again, you flip the process. After going through a piece of information, you close the book and ask yourself, what did I just learn? Say it out loud. Write it down. Try to explain it like you would to a friend. When you do that, your brain has to actually retrieve the info instead of passively reviewing it, and that retrieval process is what makes memory stronger and easier to access next time. Think of your brain like a path through the forest. The more you walk the same trail, the clearer and faster it becomes. Passive review is like staring at the forest and hoping a path will form. Active recall is actually walking through it. And to make it even better, pair that with spaced repetition. Here's the deal, your brain forgets things over time, especially if you only learn them once. But if you revisit that information right before your brain is about to forget it, you reinforce it, and it sticks way longer. There are apps and systems out there that do this for you, but you don't need anything fancy. Just space out your reviews, a few hours later, then a day, then 3 days, then a week. Keep testing yourself, not rereading, and you'll be shocked at how little time it takes to remember a lot more. Let's bring it closer to real life. Say you're learning a new language. Instead of spending 2 hours one day memorizing vocabulary, break it up into 15-minute chunks over several days. Quiz yourself with flashcards or a language app that forces you to recall the words, not just recognize them. You'll feel like you're learning slower at first, but after a week, you'll remember more than someone who sat for hours just reading. Now, learning faster isn't just about technique, it's also about energy. And here's where a lot of people miss the mark. If your brain is foggy, stressed, or running on 3 hours of sleep and 4 cups of coffee, it's not going to matter how great your study method is. You need focus, and for that, you need rest. I know it sounds basic, but don't underestimate the power of a full night's sleep. When you sleep, your brain sorts and stores the information you learned that day. It's like hitting save on your mental hard drive. Sacrificing sleep to study more often backfires, big time. And then there's this sneaky little productivity killer, multitasking. It might feel productive to watch a study video while replying to texts and checking your email, but all you're doing is splitting your focus. Your brain can't actually do 2 demanding tasks at once, it's just switching back and forth, wasting energy and reducing the quality of your learning. If you want to speed learn like a pro, you've got to give your brain the respect it deserves. That means working in short, focused bursts, 20 to 40 minutes of total focus, then a short break. It's called the Pomodoro technique, and it's a game changer. You can use a timer on your phone, or even better, put your phone on Do Not Disturb and use a kitchen timer. During that focused window, give it your all. Then when it's break time, step away, stretch, hydrate, take a few breaths. This helps reset your attention and keeps your brain fresh. Let's also talk about something most people forget: your environment. If your study space is cluttered, noisy, or just full of distractions, your brain has to work harder to stay on task. Try to find a calm, clean area, even if it's just a small corner of your room. Add some soft background music or white noise if it helps you stay in the zone. The fewer decisions your brain has to make, the more energy it can spend on learning. Now that we've talked about how your brain actually retains information, how to recall it better, and how your environment and habits can either help or sabotage your learning, we're starting to build the foundation. And once you feel that shift, where you actually remember what you're studying, where it takes less time to learn something new, you realize this isn't just about being more productive. It's about unlocking your potential. It's about building confidence, momentum, and a real sense of mastery. Now, once you've got your focus dialed in and your brain firing on all cylinders, the next step is learning how to make the information stick in a way that's fast and kind of fun. Most people think studying has to be this dry, repetitive process. But the truth is, the more your brain enjoys the experience, the faster it absorbs what you're trying to learn. Here's the secret that nobody told us in school: emotions and curiosity are like rocket fuel for memory. If something makes you laugh, shocks you, or makes you curious, it sticks. That's why you can remember random scenes from movies you saw 10 years ago but can't recall what you studied last week. Your brain is designed to care about what feels relevant, emotional, or interesting. So if you want to study like it's a superpower, make the material connect with something that matters to you. If you're learning business terms, link them to real scenarios in your life. If you're studying history, imagine yourself as someone living in that time. Even better, turn it into a story. Our brains are wired for storytelling. We've passed down knowledge through stories for thousands of years. A dry list of facts might disappear in a day, but a well-told story? That could stay with you for years. Try this. If you're studying a complex concept, let's say, how the stock market works, don't just memorize terms. Turn it into a mini drama in your head. Imagine Mr. Bull Market walking into a room confident and loud, while Ms. Bear Market slips in quietly and starts causing problems. It sounds silly, but that's the point. The sillier and more vivid it is, the easier your brain grabs onto it. Another trick to learning faster is teaching what you just learned. You don't have to be a real teacher. You just have to explain it to someone, your partner, your friend, your cat, or even just the mirror. When you explain something out loud, your brain has to organize the information, fill in gaps, and figure out what it really understands. That act of teaching is one of the best ways to reinforce new knowledge. And here's something a lot of people get wrong: they study until they understand. But if you really want to learn like it's illegal, in the best way, you study until you can't forget. That's the bar. Understanding something once is like lighting a match. But being able to explain it, apply it, and recall it at any time? That's like installing a permanent light switch. It's also important to remember this: learning doesn't have to be confined to your desk or your screen. One of the fastest ways to internalize new ideas is to use them. Apply them to your life right away. Let's say you're learning marketing. Don't wait for a test. Go write a pretend ad for your favorite product. Learning a new language? Send a voice note to a friend in that language or label things around your home. When you move from theory to action, your brain says, "Oh, this is real. This matters." And it files it in long-term storage. And here's something that's probably going to surprise you: mistakes actually make you learn faster. Yep. Getting something wrong, then correcting it, strengthens the memory much more than getting it right the first time. That's why testing yourself and checking answers is so much more effective than just reading the material over and over. The act of trying, failing, and fixing burns the correct version into your brain. So don't be afraid to get things wrong. That's not failure, that's how your brain levels up. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest learning hacks out there, and it's one almost nobody uses. It's called interleaving. It sounds fancy, but it's incredibly simple. Instead of studying one subject or one type of problem for a long block of time, you mix things up. You study one topic, then switch to a related one, then come back. So instead of doing 30 math problems in a row, you do 10 math, 10 science, then maybe 10 more math. This forces your brain to constantly switch gears and retrieve different kinds of information, which actually boosts learning and retention over time. It's like going to the gym. If you just do bicep curls for an hour, yeah, you'll be sore, but you won't be balanced. But if you move through different muscle groups, your whole body gets stronger. Same with your brain. Variety builds strength. And if you really want to boost your speed, combine interleaving with something that almost feels like a cheat code, mental visualization. When you're learning a process, don't just memorize the steps, see them. Close your eyes and mentally walk through each part. Athletes use this all the time before games. They imagine their moves, their reactions, the environment, and when they actually get on the field, their brain has already practiced. You can do the same. Whether it's remembering a workflow, a list, a diagram, picture it. Walk through it mentally. It cements the learning like nothing else. Also, don't ignore your body. What you eat, how you move, how you breathe, all of it impacts your brain's ability to learn. You don't need to go full fitness influencer mode, but fueling your brain matters. Drink water. Eat something that isn't just sugar. Take short walks between study sessions to boost blood flow and oxygen to your brain. Even a few deep breaths can reset your mental focus. The fastest learners in the world? They're not necessarily the smartest. They're the most intentional. They don't try to learn everything at once. They don't just cram and hope for the best. They treat learning like a craft. Like training. Like something they can shape and improve every time they sit down. And here's what makes this all so exciting. Once you start using these techniques, things get easier. Learning stops feeling like a chore. You start picking up new skills faster, retaining them longer, and, maybe for the first time, you actually enjoy the process. And when you enjoy it, you do more of it. And that's where the real momentum kicks in. You know, the more we talk about this, the more it becomes clear, studying fast isn't about rushing. It's about studying smart. And one of the smartest moves you can make is learning how to control your environment, because your brain is deeply influenced by what's around you. Think about the last time you tried to concentrate in a messy room, with your phone buzzing, a show running in the background, maybe even a snack in your hand. Hard, right? Your brain was juggling 5 things when it was supposed to focus on one. So, here's the truth most people ignore: your study speed is directly tied to your ability to eliminate distractions. Start simple. When it's time to learn something new, put your phone in another room. Or at least put it on Do Not Disturb and face down. Those tiny buzzes and notifications hijack your attention. Even if you don't pick it up, your brain notices, and it splits your focus, even if just for a second. Multiply that over an hour, and you've lost precious learning time without realizing it. Then, design your environment to trigger focus. This doesn't mean it has to be sterile or boring. Just intentional. Maybe you light a certain candle or put on a specific playlist every time you sit down to study. That little ritual tells your brain, it's go time. Over time, your mind will naturally shift into learning mode the moment you enter that setup. And here's something powerful: study in bursts, not marathons. This is where the Pomodoro technique comes in handy. It's simple: you study for 25 minutes, then break for 5. After 4 rounds, you take a longer break. Why does it work? Because it tricks your brain into staying engaged. It's much easier to commit to 25 minutes of focus than an overwhelming 2-hour session. Those short sprints add up, and they make the process feel manageable, even fun. But what if you're trying to learn something long-term, like a new language or a skill for work? That's where spaced repetition becomes your best friend. Instead of cramming once and hoping it sticks, you review the material over increasing intervals, maybe a few hours later, then a day, then 3 days, and so on. Each review strengthens the memory like a muscle being trained. There are even apps that automate this for you, like Anki or Quizlet. You'd be surprised how much more you remember by doing less, just more strategically. Let's take it even deeper. If you want to learn at a level that almost feels unfair, you have to tap into your brain's natural rhythms. Everyone has times of day when they're sharper. Some people are morning thinkers, others come alive in the evening. Start noticing when you feel the most focused or mentally clear, and protect that time. Use it for your most demanding learning. Don't waste it on emails or chores, invest it in your brain. Now here's a mindset shift that can unlock a whole new level. Don't just learn to remember. Learn to create. Instead of just reading and rereading, ask yourself, what can I do with this information? Could you make a short video explaining it? Write a social post? Apply it to a problem you care about? When you use information to create something, even something small, you move from passive to active learning. And that shift makes a huge difference in how fast you learn and how long you retain it. And don't underestimate the power of movement. Your brain loves it when you move. That's why ideas often hit you in the shower or on a walk. If you're stuck or trying to understand something tricky, get up. Walk. Talk it out loud. Pace. Moving your body while reviewing material, especially right after you learn it, helps consolidate memory. It may sound odd, but walking while listening to a lecture or podcast is one of the most effective ways to lock in new information. There's also something deeply overlooked: sleep. Most people don't connect sleep and learning, but they're partners in crime. When you sleep, your brain organizes and stores everything you learned that day. It's like hitting save on your progress. If you cut sleep short, you're literally stealing from your own memory bank. So if you want to study fast, make sleep part of your plan. Not a reward, part of the process. And here's the final secret, the one that ties all of this together: belief. If you believe you're a slow learner, guess what? You'll act like one. But if you believe that learning is a skill, a muscle you can grow, you'll approach it with curiosity and confidence. You'll take more risks. You'll try new techniques. You'll bounce back from setbacks. And in doing that, you'll learn faster than you ever thought possible. See, the truth is, most people aren't slow learners. They're just stuck using slow methods. They're repeating instead of reflecting, consuming instead of creating, distracted instead of deliberate. But you're doing something different now. You're learning how to learn. You're shaping your environment, your habits, your routines, all to serve your brain, not fight against it. And that's not just useful. That's powerful. So wherever you are, whether you're trying to ace a test, pick up a new skill, change careers, or just finally enjoy the process of learning, you now have the tools. Not the stuff you were taught in school, but the stuff that works in real life. And remember, speed isn't the goal. Mastery is. But when you learn with intention, when you use these strategies, when you start trusting yourself, the speed comes naturally. And yeah, it might feel a little bit illegal at times, but that's just because most people never figure this out. You did. So now go out there and use it.